Do you remember how, back in the glory days of Sims 4 YouTube, do you remember how, during that era, there was a challenge known as the Disney Princess Legacy Challenge? I, for one, very much remember that challenge. I myself tried to take it on my own. I never really made a video on it because I wasn't doing YouTube at the time. Remember, I've been playing this stupid game for like 10 years. I have almost 3,000 hours, so calm the heck down. I realized something the other day that I kind of missed this challenge, and this morning I was scrolling the good old YouTube shorts because my ADHD said, look at the funny moving words and things, and woo, brain rot. But I saw a short from Punky Doodles talking about how Snow White could basically, with the way that she was described through the original fairy tale, you know, skin is white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as ebony, or whatever it was. That's awfully vampire coded, if you ask me. So I had the idea to revamp the original Disney Princess Legacy Challenge, but to make it a little bit more grim by making everyone a vampire. Except for certain generations, but we'll get to those. Before I go over the rules for this generation, I do want to show you the sim I created for Snow White. I named her White Schnee because it's literally white snow. I didn't want to just have her be Snow White. She's macabre, she's an animal lover, and she's a music lover, and of course she wants to make a vampire family because that's the most fitting aspiration for the goal for her generation. The main color theme I went for her was red, black, and a little bit of white accents. Her skin tone is not the palest, but it is a very pale, cool tone. I think she turned out pretty neat, going for kind of a goth, modern vibe. I did not go very sparingly with my personal pack use. And yes, I play with music off because I forgot to set stream safe or copyright free music. I will fix that in a later portion, just not right now. I'll get to that, don't worry. Now, I have a little bit of gameplay I recorded earlier showing off the build that I made for my starter house. I did not use any cheats other than move objects, which doesn't trigger the using cheats warning, so I figure that was fair to me as a console player. I want to try and earn achievements if I can. Yeah, very small, very basic, bare bones, but still very cute. Cottage core. That's where I added the lot traits and challenges. I meant it to be something that could easily be expanded upon so that as the Coven grows, you can just add another room. If you run out of room on the surface, you can add a basement, you can add an attic, whatever you need to do. Anyway, while this gameplay segment plays, I'm going to read off some of the rules that I wrote for this generation, as well as the upcoming generations, so we know what we're going for. During the days while I'm, not playing and, waiting for the views to rack up on this video, I'm going to be working on creating more rules for further generations. I don't know if it's going to follow the same pattern as the original Disney Legacy Challenge, because I don't know. I think I have some more fun ideas. I am writing and posting about this challenge on my Tumblr, which is user Nightwing Dick Rider. I know, funny. I am calling it the Revamped Princess Legacy. And I'm just gonna read off right from my screenshot of my Tumblr draft. I hope that's okay with y'all. Yeah, and I'm coming up with these rules as I play, so, sometimes later generations may have specific rules tailored to how I'm playing. Obviously, if you think a pack will work great for the challenge and you have it, go ahead, use that. Again, I want this to be something fun for people. And here are the rules for Generation 1, aka Snow White and the Seven, not dwarves. In this generation, Snow White is a vampire. She was cast aside from the royal family after her stepmother realized that the reason she was so fair and beautiful was because she wasn't human. Originally, the plan by the wicked stepmother was to send her into the woods and have her killed by the huntsman, but Snow White escaped, and now her goal is to form her own coven and basically find her own family, because the one she had rejected her because of something she couldn't control. Now, specific rules for this generation are that you must be female, you must be a vampire, and you must obtain the vampire creation trait through the vampire skill tree. You may not, as Snow White, work an ordinary job, but other Sims who are in your household who are not the heir may. Ideally, you should not use cheated money for this generation specifically. Like, if you have to use debug cheats to, like, fix a glitch, whatever, you're fine, and that's fine. But all money that goes towards the household should be made by the household. And it's important that instead of having 7 children like in the original challenge, you turn 7 Sims with your vampire creation ability. The 7th must be female, because she is going to be your heir. She's going to be Cinderella, which is the next generation, which I will read off next. I lied, actually, because I forgot to say that, just like in the original, Snow White cannot talk to strangers or elderly Sims. Also, for the lot, try to make it off the grid, and if you have cottage living, use simple living. Now, for Cinderella's portion of the challenge, it doesn't start until she's a teenager. While it does start earlier, like, than most generations will start, here's the thing with her story, is that basically after she turns 16, basically aging up into a teen, she gets turned by Snow White, because Snow White raised her as if she were her own daughter and gave her the choice over whether or not she wanted to become a vampire. Cinderella said, yes, make me one. The turning process has started, but she is not yet a full-fledged vampire, which is important because just days later, while she's still waiting to transform and get her fangs, the coven is attacked. Everything burns except for Cinderella. And that because humans found her and assumed she was just another human and had not yet been turned. Not only did they give her a name reflecting the ashes and cinders and embers she had been found among, but they also brought her to live with humans. She was sent to live with a noble family who lived nearby, who also had daughters around her age, so it wouldn't be, weird. Unfortunately, the family had a great dislike for her due to her vampire sympathizing nature, so they turned her into a maid. Cinderella must be female. She must be turned as a teen. She must have the neat trait. She may not go to school. I can't read my own text because it's so small on the tiny little CapCut screen. Hold on, I need to look at the Tumblr and remember what I wrote. Anyways, Cinderella must do all of the household chores, including cooking and laundry if that's something you have available. Now, she must not feed from the family if you are going to deal with her thirst needs, she has to grow plasma fruit and make plasma packs. Or feed from strangers, but that runs the risk of her getting caught as a vampire. And finally, she must catch the eye of a prince at a masquerade ball and marry him immediately once she becomes a young adult. If you have MC Command Center, you can have them get married as teenagers, but, you know. And also, if you have the royalty pack, then by all means, use that. I don't have it, so I'm just going to have a regular party when the time comes. But yeah, those are the first two sets of rules I've come up with. And now I'm going to chill out for a bit, let my phone charge up, play for a few days, record some clips of interesting things that happen, and I'll catch you on the flip side. I said flip, not whip. I'm not him. Fun fact, while I was about to start recording another section of gameplay to actually have, you know, an update on my progress and some of the things I've been doing to work around the rules of the challenge, the game decided it needed to update immediately, so good thing I auto-saved. I just hope I didn't lose too much progress. Basically my thought process for trying to get around the restrictions of not being able to greet the door for strangers and, you know, vampires having to go to basically stay out of the sun. I basically allowed myself to meet new Sims through either attending festivals like the Moonlit Revelry Festival with Life and Death, or by going to community lots, and after I met those Sims, I added them to a club to try and be able to make better friends with them. And also, I'll start another club that'll be for feeding, but also I managed to be able to plant 5 plasma fruit trees, so I think I should be good as far as trying to keep, at least for now, feeding without having to resort to drinking from Sims, because the whole point is to try and keep the coven hidden. I wound up making Weiss go to the Moonlit Revelry Festival as an excuse to go somewhere at night and not only socialize, but also find some collectibles and frogs and whatever to try and make a little extra money. And if you're wondering why there's 4,000 simoleons, I got the phone call that lets you get 4,000 simoleons if you say, yay, free money. So I did that. I don't know, it just made sense to do that. The important thing here, for me, personally, was to try and level up not only the vampire lore skill, but also earn more vampire points to be able to actually get the next rank and unlock vampire creation, which I did manage to do. I just didn't get it on camera. Whoops. when I got Weiss home, I wound up going into build mode and using some money to not only put down a chicken coop, but also a bee house, because I figured with the bee house we can get beeswax or candles, so I don't have to keep buying soy wax. And then with chickens, eggs, which feeds the humans. Now that Weiss is able to turn others into vampires, I had her turn Bella goth. Why? Because the option came up, so I went ahead. And then I had Bella move in and immediately put Bella to work, not only going to work, but also doing things outside during the day while she still can.
Ulak, Fanjip Sanafish. Conil. Gahara Shway.
I will probably do another video that's an update on how the challenge is going in a couple weeks, maybe? I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. I did go into build mode and add a second coffin for Bella for now. Right now my goal is to wait for Bella to turn, have Weiss train her, work up a little money, turn another person, rinse, repeat, try and get as far into Weiss's aspiration until it's actually time to adopt our Cinderella. The day after I did this, I wound up going into build mode after racking up a little bit more money and moving another sim in to eventually turn her as well. I basically fixed my goof up from earlier and, like, you know, added it an addition onto the house, because that was kind of necessary in my opinion. I just continued the same materials as the rest of the cottage. I don't know, it made sense to. Anyways, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more of this challenge, please let me know down in the comments. You can also show your support by liking, subscribing, and eventually when I have my post for the rules posted on Tumblr, you can reblog that post. And if you're interested in doing this version of the Disney Princess Legacy Challenge yourself, go right ahead. Go ahead and share it with me, because I'm so curious to see who else is interested in doing things like this.